Have you ever wanted to mine Bitcoin but can't because of the graphic card shortage? Fear not, there's another way and you can mine Bitcoin. Meet the Goldshell Mini Doge. And much like Pip My Ride, here are some of the stats. Goldshell's most recent batches actually contain some Wi-Fi editions, which I was actually lucky enough to get. I guess someone told them I was a big content creator.
That you know, and they ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
So now that you know what it is, I'm going to tell you how to set one up. You just plug it in. Duh! I'm only partially kidding. First, you need a power supply, either the one you order from Goldshell or you can order one online. Typically, a power supply will not power on without a motherboard, but you can get around this by using something called the jumper cap, which looks like this. These things come standard in power supplies nowadays, so don't worry about having to use a paper clip, and don't use a paper clip. It's kind of unsafe because it's a live wire too. Once the jumper is attached, take the other end and plug it into the power supply as shown here. From here, you take the AC cable, plug one end into the PSU, and then plug the other end into the wall outlet. You flick it on to see if it works, and if the fan is turning, then it worked. If not, then you messed up somewhere. Assuming you did everything correctly, you can finally plug in the ASIC miner. To power the ASIC miner, you have to plug in the 6-pin as shown here, minus the 2 there, and then plug the 8-pin side onto the PSU. You plug that bad boy in with some Ethernet cable and let her rip. And this applies for both the Wi-Fi and the non-Wi-Fi edition, and I'll explain this in 2 sections. First one is going to be the non-Wi-Fi edition. Goldshell has an application to take care of the management for this, but you can go to your browser and just type in find.goldshell.com. It should bring you to this page. If you did everything correctly, you should be able to see it on your network. And I'm going to go to the hardwired one I have. So when you start, this is not going to look like this first. To change the language, it's going to be a different language, but to change the language is up here. And that's the first thing you want to do, unless you can understand the other language, but I can't. Next, you want to click this giant unlock button here, and you want to enter the password. The default password is just 1 through 9, so you just plug that in, hit unlock, and then you should be fine. Now, from here, you go to the miner page. On this page, you want to point your miner, so click on add, and then put in the URL with your username, your number, your miner name, password, and so forth. You could use any pool on here, or you can point it to whatever kind of custom pool you want to point it to. I'm not using any of these ones because they have fees. The one I use doesn't have any fees, but you know, it's your prerogative from where you want to actually mine. In this other section here, you'll see a power plan, which has hash rate mode, low power mode, and balance mode, and so forth. I leave it on balance. There's a great Reddit thread I'll leave down below. You guys can read through it to see which one is the most appropriate for you, but I just like balance. This gives me about 170 mega hashes average over 24 hours. Now, assuming you did everything correct, this shovel should turn green. That means you're mining, and you can tell by actually seeing hash rate on the main chart. One other last thing I want to mention is that the firmware updates. So this is where you go to update the firmware. You can click on this little paperclip, and Goldshell has a GitHub with all the firmwares over here. You guys can go on their website, or you can just basically go to the GitHub here and find the latest version. See if you're running the latest version. It's shown right up here. You should always make sure your firmware is up to date, and you just grab it from the GitHub, download it to your computer, and then just add it as an attachment onto your panel and just upload it through there. Now for the Wi-Fi edition. That took me a lot longer than it should have. For the Wi-Fi edition, it's kind of ironic, but you actually have to plug it in through the Ethernet connection first to set it up. So once you plug it in and set it up, you should be able to come to the find.goldshell.com page, and then you should see it in your network, and then click to open it. The setup is the same as the wired, with the key difference being in systems, you will now see the Wi-Fi settings and the WLAN actually showing networks on here. If you don't see any networks, sometimes the signal might be kind of weak, or you can just click on and off this WLAN. I'm not going to because I don't want to disconnect myself. When the network you want to connect to appears, click on the network, click connect, enter your Wi-Fi password, and you'll know it's successful because it'll say connected. My review of this miner is it's actually pretty cool. It's a small, low-powered, and not very noisy machine. It's not like one of those industrial-sized ant miners that are like, you know, sound like a jet engine or anything like that, but it's a great entry level for anybody that's actually just curious about Bitcoin mining or just crypto mining in general, and especially if you're having issues finding a graphics card. I left an Amazon affiliate link down below if you want to support me and also grab the same power supply that I did, but any sort of power supply that's rated gold and above will actually do. If you have any questions, leave me a comment down below. I'll try my best to answer it. Leave a like or dislike. Share this video with anybody that might be having a little trouble with their Mini Doge Wi-Fi setup. Don't forget to subscribe, and just remember, just because you're a day trader doesn't mean you have to trade every single day.